Hey, sixth graders, we are going to be working on writing your reason paragraphs today. You already have your thesis statement, you wrote a lead, and so now we're ready to write your reason paragraphs. So, the first thing you need to do is in your writer's notebook, you need to open up to those pages that we labeled with reason one, reason two, reason three. And reason paragraphs need to start with a transition statement. Transition words are words like first, next, second, third. If you remember in the other essays, it had all in all or as you know. So all of these are transition words. So we're going to include a transition statement at the top of each of these pages. So in elementary school, you wrote reasons like, the first reason we like the art room is because we can do many types of art. And then your next paragraph would go, the second reason we like the art room is because we like the vibe of the room. Then the next paragraph would say, the third reason we like the art room. Do you get what I'm saying? That's the elementary school way of doing it, and that's not the way we're going to do it. Instead, we can flip that sentence. So we take that same idea, but we flip the sentence around, and it just sounds like a more middle school type of writing. So if we take this sentence, so we had the first reason we like the art room, instead of putting it at the beginning of the sentence, we can put that at the end of the sentence. So I wrote the sentence, the first reason we like the art room is because we can do many types of art. So right here, we flipped it. I moved the many types of art to the beginning of the sentence. And then I moved the elementary school part to the end of the sentence. And all of a sudden, it sounds like a more sophisticated sentence. The many types of art we can do are a reason we like the art room. Doesn't that just sound better? Or you can even just say, there are so many different types of art we can do in the art room. So, right now, what I need you to do is I need you to write a transition statement that goes at the top of every one of your pages. So, reason one is going to have a sentence that sounds something like this. Reason two is going to have a sentence, and then reason three. So, right now, you're going to pause the video and you're going to write 3 transition statements. At the top of each reason page, you need to write a sentence that is a middle school style sentence. So let's pause the video and write those sentences now. Okay, so you're back. You paused it. I want you to first, I want you to check people at your table. Look at theirs. Do they have a transition statement for every one of their reasons? Pause again. Make sure everybody at your table has transition statements to start each one of your paragraphs. So pause to do that. Okay, now we have transition statements at the top of each one of your pages. So now we're ready to write our reason paragraphs. So looking back, you know that page you have where you have all your colorful notes and you wrote all your different you have your 3 topics and there's color coding and you have all of that. You had 15 ideas. You're probably not going to use all of them. We came up with 15 so that we had lots of ideas, and we're going to have to narrow it down for what we include in our paragraph because we don't want to say the first reason we like the art room is doing art. And then we say we like clay, we like coloring, we like painting. We don't want to just list things. And so instead, we're going to use something called tell me more, and we're going to be drawing arrows on our page. So you're going to write a sentence and draw an arrow. So up here at the top, I said, no, we do not write this like we're little fourth graders. That first reason we like the field is playing sports. So I'm moving it to an example about liking the field right here instead. So we don't have statements like this. Instead, we have something like playing sports is the first reason we like the field. And then I have a little arrow here pointing up to that because my next sentence needs to tell more about playing sports is the first reason I like the field. So I wrote, our class likes to play soccer, football, run on the track, and sprint. So remember those days that you guys were like running races to see who is the fastest and we play football? We haven't done a lot of running on the track so far this year, but we have all these reasons that you like the field. This sentence right here tells more about this sentence. So I drew an arrow up because this tells more about this. Now I'm going to draw another arrow right here. Notice I have one sentence, then an arrow. One sentence, then an arrow. Now I want to tell more about this topic. So I'm going to say, During PE and break, there are many times we can play football. A lot of you guys play football. Not all of you, but a lot of people play football at break, boys and girls. So this tells more about this. Notice I didn't talk about soccer. I didn't talk about going on the track. I just picked to write about playing football. So this tells more about this. Then I have another arrow. The next sentence needs to tell more about the sentence before it. So I wrote, there are many people who play at break, which is two-hand touch, but during PE, we play with flags. Do you see how this sentence is telling more about football? So each of these, the sentence tells more about the for it. This tells more about this sentence. This sentence tells more about this sentence. This tells more about the transition statement. So right now, you're going to pause the video for quite a while because you're going to go through all of your reasons and you are going to write at least 3 tell me more sentences. At least. It's great if you write more. You're not going to fill the page with this, but notice I have one sentence with an arrow pointing up. Sentence, arrow pointing up. Every sentence tells more about the sentence before it. You're going to go through and do this for all 3 reasons right now. This is going to take a while. I'm guessing you're going to pause this video for like 30 seconds and you can, 30 minutes. You're going to leave this up on the screen. Talk with each other, help each other out, stay focused in your conversations, but help each other to tell more about the sentence before it. Do it for your reason 1, your reason 2, your reason 3. Pause it now and go ahead and do that. Okay, if you still have time left in class, you're going to move on to the last stage of your paragraphs. So you should have 3 reasoned paragraphs that each have at least 3 tell me more sentences. More than that is totally fine. So the next thing you're going to do is we're going to write something that we call a mini story. And a mini story just adds more to an expository writing because expository writing is very fact-based. And so by adding a mini story, it makes it more interesting for your reader. So here's my mini story that I wrote about one time that we had a team playing football. They're not this year's teams, there's a different team. So I wrote, last week, there was a championship between Tortuga Equipa and the Flying Squirrels. Great names for flag football teams. This was the second game between these teams. After many touchdowns, the Flying Squirrels won 35-28. Most of the 6th grade enjoyed their time in the field for this game. This mini story right here adds more information about the sentence before. It's not a totally new topic. I'm not writing like, one day we went out and ran on the track, because I wouldn't tell more about the sentence before it. I need to tell more about the sentence before. So this mini story tells more about this topic. So when you're writing a mini story, we're looking for them to be about 3 sentences long. They give a real life example. So if you're writing about winter and you're writing about Christmas, tell a mini story about a time, something your family did for Christmas. We also can use some fat D sentence variety. This one doesn't really have a lot. It doesn't have any dialogue in it. It does have feelings that most of the 6th graders enjoyed their time watching the game. There's some feelings right there. So what you're going to do now is you're going to add a mini story to the bottom of each one of your reason paragraphs. So I started with a transition sentence, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. And now I'm going to add a mini story to the end of each one of your reason paragraphs. So that's the end of this video. And you have time right now to work on adding your mini stories to the end of each one of your reason paragraphs. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.